This is a short one like me. Dudes with Brews on the Porch presents Michael Brews.
Dude. Craft Brews and Casual Conversations. Joined with me, a not-so-stranger to the podcast, we got D from the Twitch channel, Husband and Strife. D, how's it going, man? It's been a minute.
Not too bad. Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's like the last time I guested was, 3 years ago, probably?
You had a little segment on the 5-year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I
think I was the only person who gave you a compliment throughout all of that.
You were, which was nice to hear. We appreciate that. So, thanks for doing it. Yeah, it has been a minute. It's weird to try to think of time because, like, we've known each other like digitally. I guess you could say since almost the beginning of the podcast. So, I mean, we've been in contact for 5 years and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say like episode 6, I think is when I started listening, something around then.
Yeah. So it's, you're no stranger and we always like you having you on. But let me talk about this beer that I got real quick. So I'm drinking, cause 'tis the season for the peanut butter cup stouts, from Untitled Art, which is a, kind of a collaboration, collective with various breweries. They do a bunch of different collaborations, and they did one with Hidden Springs Ale Works from Tampa, and it is what it is. It's a peanut butter cup stout. There's no fancy description. It's a stout, and hopefully it tastes like peanut butter cups. It's 12% alcohol, 0 on the IBUs.
Not bad.
Yeah, the stouts get a little boozy, and I mean, I kind of like lean towards these types of drinks this time of the year, like fall, the beginning of fall, and today was the first full day of back at the job, so I think I deserve this.
I think you do too.
What are you drinking?
I have local to me, based out of Tacoma or Gig Harbor. They have 2 different breweries, but it is the Seven Seas Brewing Red Raspberry Sour Ale.
Okay.
Let's see, I got the info popped up. It is a Gose or Gose style sour ale brewed with red raspberry puree, tart, fruity, and refreshing. 4.7% ABV.
Nice. Are you a big sour fan?
I haven't had a whole lot of them. Okay. I just figure, a red raspberry sour sounds good for how hot it's been out here.
Yeah, it's been pretty warm out there.
Yeah, like I know, like, I'm going to throw a temperature out there and people are just going to be like, oh, that's not hot. But it's been like 90 degrees for the last
3 that's hot as hell,
weeks,
dude. Yeah.
Which is not normal for us out in Washington.
Oh, that's it gets that's a little normal in Wisconsin. Like, we get high 80s, but the problem is the humidity. The humidity is so disgusting and just kills you. So, and now we're getting to the season where you have humidity, and it's also everything is starting to die. So all the pollen is back up in the air, and then I'm starting to die because I'm allergic to everything in the outside world currently. So it's really horrible. But let's talk about your Twitch channel, man. So you and your wife have kicked this off and began the Twitch journey. Tell me a little bit about it, because I know what Twitch is, but I don't know I don't know what Twitch is, and I guess you could say, because it's so many things.
So during the pandemic, the panini, the pastrami, whatever you want to call it, I had been creating, I've been creating for years and years, whether it's podcasting, photography, voice acting, a million different things. And so, as we got into lockdowns and whatnot, my partner and I were starting to play a lot more board games together, as well as video games, and doing a lot of couch co-op kind of stuff. And so I had taken a break for about a year from creating anything. Like, this is the first guest spot I've done on a podcast in probably about a year at this point. But I decided, you know what? I have all this gear. There's something nagging in the back of my brain saying I need to create, I need to entertain. Why don't we just take what we've already been doing, which is playing games together, and turn it into something? So that way it's less like work. And so we loaded up a Twitch channel called Husband and Strife, which is a play on, the fact that we are a married couple, and she tends to get under my skin when we're playing video games. So we decided, you know what, that's a good premise for a channel, something with some middle-aged to late middle-aged gamers, as opposed to, teenagers and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I've gone on your channel. I've watched some of the videos, and you don't always play or I guess so far you really haven't played any like quote unquote the mainstream stuff, which I kind of go to Twitch sometimes just to see like what the gameplay looks like of a game that I want to play, but then I never end up doing. Or I never end up playing, but I looked at yours, and you did a couple simulators, and you've done a bunch of different stuff. So, is that intentional, or is that just hey, we're interested in doing these, or yeah?
It's intentional. It's pretty much like we are not locked into playing just one game every day all the time, like a lot of Twitch streamers do, which does help for a following. But there are people out there like we are, where it is. It's what's called a variety streamer, where it's just like, what, we're just playing what we want to play.
Right.
So it might be, I get off work, I want to hop on for a couple hours and play Power Washer Simulator and just go in full podcast monologue mode for an hour, talking about how I've never been to a Sbarro's at a mall and how I miss Excalibur swords and shit like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's fun, because when I look at myself and like look at the gamer I should say once was, because I haven't really played a video game in a long time, not because I don't want to, just because it just doesn't happen. But I'm kind of the gamer where I can't play. Fortnite is cool. Call of Duty Warzone was fun, but I can't do it for years and years. Yeah. I'm very much a story mode guy. I go through the game once, and if it's a game like Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear, where you can make a couple of different decisions and have different endings, if I like it the first time enough, I'll do it again. I'll play through again the second time.
Absolutely.
And then maybe a third time, because then you get like both things, both add-ons, and then you can play and just really fuck around that third time. But usually I play through once, I do what I want to do with it. I'll do the side missions if I'm really digging the game, and then I'm done, and then I move on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of with Twitch, and that's what I've seen too. I follow a couple people that in bands I listen to or something like that, but there's all these for you, and it's like the same person's been playing Dead by Daylight for 362 days already. It's
right.
It's
and I'm the same exact way when it comes to playing games. Like, we've started doing what I've called the weekday solo streams, where it's, a couple hours I'm off work before my wife gets home. I'm going to sit down and play a story-based game. So like right now I'm playing Alien Isolation, which I've never played. I've done Power Wash Simulator. I've done House Flipper, because it started as a joke that we were playing as our own versions of Chip and Joanna House Flipper.
Yeah.
And just like running with that gimmick. So it's more like, what?
That's fun.
During the week, that's when I'm going to get that time in. And I'm going to play something story-based that I haven't played, that I think might be entertaining for people to watch, or that I feel like I can make a commentary over. Whereas on the weekends, when both my wife and I are off together, that's our time to play together and focus on a multiplayer game. So like, I happen to be off of work today, starting vacation, as was she. So we ended up playing through Sea of Thieves.
Nice.
Which is just, a lot of chill moments, a lot of just banter back and forth. And then all shit hitting the fan as you're rated by way better players that play it every day. But, it makes for what I consider entertainment. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think, where Twitch really finds its success, is like you're watching a game that you want to watch, or maybe you want to play, but you're also getting commentary and interactions from everyday people, real people, or people that you're interested in while doing it. So there's like that added layer to it, because otherwise it's like, well, you would just play it, or you would go on YouTube and watch like a silent walkthrough or something like that. So that's where I think Twitch is cool, and I think that's where you do a good job with your channel too, because especially with like the multiplayer stuff, the two of you flow well, and like you talk a little smack here, or you say something, and it's it's funny, and it's just like, it's like how people would actually play a video game, which is really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And in fairness, we have cleaned it up quite a bit on the streams. Like, the amount of trash talk, if we're playing a fighting game or something like that, it is no holds barred. Say whatever you want just to get under the other person's skin, whether it's, me calling her leg sweeping bitch over and over again, or her calling me a fucking corner blocking asshole. Like, yeah, we kind of toned it back a little bit on stream. We did actually have a heated moment, and again, all in banter, all within the game. Playing Sea of Thieves earlier, where it's like we had a mission to go drop off a snake. It was like the dumbest mission, but she 100% told me, I'm coming back to the boat. I've got the snake. We make it all the way back to port, and it's not there. And she's like, all right, you know what? You're swimming your lazy ass all the way back to that island, getting that snake and getting back here. We have this one mission to finish before I hop on a podcast. So
I can remember when I was playing, I want to say Resident Evil 5, I think it was. And I was towards the end, getting to the end part, and two of my friends were over, and the whole time I just kept dying, and then they're in the background just talking all this shit about me, and just saying and then like I myself am getting so heated because it's like you want to beat the game, and then you got these two like dudes from the peanut gallery just talking smack, and that would have been a good moment for Twitch, I feel like.
I think so, yeah.
How do you so setting up a Twitch thing, I've interviewed another person who has a Twitch channel that I don't think he does anything anymore, which is unfortunate, but he really put a lot of money and time into building this crazy like setup via computer and all that stuff. Is that what you do too, or do you do it through a system?
So my setup's a little janky. Like, I do have a gaming computer. I actually recently upgraded mine because I wasn't able to stream some of the stuff that I wanted to play.
Sure.
Plus my other computer was like 10 years old, so that was also part of it. But the way that I have it now, like, I have an app on a second monitor that runs basically a mirror of my screen of what I'm playing. I've got an overlay that I've created myself because I have years of Photoshop experience. I know how to do that stuff. And then there's like Streamlabs is the program that I use, and it makes so many things so easy nowadays. Like, I can copy my wife's webcam while we're on Discord and just, plop it on to wherever I want. I can pipe her audio through it. And it really took a lot of that early style guesswork when I had first started trying to do Twitch, a decade ago, or however long it's been around. It took a lot of that out. So it's super simple now to do it. It's all just a matter of, how in depth do you want to go with it?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you, so as far as your channel, what are your goals for it? Are you looking to expand to a bigger audience, or are you just looking for, this is a place where you can be on and see the games that you're normally not gonna see, and try something new and get that banter? Or kind of what's your goal with that?
Right now it's just honestly a creative outlet for me.
Right.
But obviously we would like to see more viewers in the chat, because it adds to the content as far as I'm concerned. Like, if I have someone that, especially if I'm playing something solo and I'm making commentary, it's like, all right, cool, I'm just talking to the wall this whole time while I play this game, versus, having people in the chat popping up, giving suggestions, cracking jokes that I can play off of and things like that. So honestly, I think if, like, as far as the goal goes, like, Twitch has different partnership levels to where, you can get subscribers and money and whatnot. I'm not looking for it to be a full-time thing. I'm not looking for it to replace my job or anything like that. But at the same time, it'd be nice to kind of hit those early milestones to where we have an active chat and things like that.
That'd be pretty fucking sweet if it did take over your full-time job.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't argue with it.
Yeah, that would be.
I just know that what I make with my day job, I can't realistically do that just with Twitch.
I always say I want to do a Twitch like rendition of the show too, because it's like, but I would just do it through like a system, like via a camera and have it or whatever like that, because it's like, oh, I could play a game and drink a different beer while I do it too, and like do something like that. I just haven't done it. I have somebody gave me the camera for my PlayStation 4, and I haven't done it. But maybe Rob does it. Rob has a Twitch channel.
I know it. I gotta get that link from you, because I don't think I follow him, and he doesn't follow us back either. So I can't give him too hard of a time about that.
I follow you.
I did. I saw that. I gave you a little pop-up notification shout out.
Yeah. I'll send you that link. I've watched To be fair, I've only watched one of Rob's Twitch streams. I've watched more than one of yours, but
you know what? It's as long as Twitch has a thing built in called raids where you can take your audience and send them to someone else's channel when you're logging off. And so you know what? I've tried to go through I think we have 25 followers on Twitch, and a lot of those go back to podcasting because I just rebranded my account. And it's just none of them are ever online. So
yeah, if
I have somewhere I could throw my one viewer, I 100% am going to do it.
Yeah, and vice versa. I'll set that up for both of you because that would be fun. Rob very much plays the story mode games too, and I forget what game he was playing, but the cutscenes are pretty long, so he doesn't talk during the cutscenes. He just lets them play out, which is cool too. And that's kind of how I checked out. You and I talked a little bit online about what was that fucking game? The horror movie one, and they're at a camp. Oh my god!
The Quarry.
Yeah, the Quarry.
Yeah, I still have yet to play it. I'm not watching people play through it. I'm kind of waiting for it to drop in price because I think that'll be a game that my partner and I will really enjoy sitting down and playing together.
Yeah, it looks fun, and it's a game that I've never played that type of game where it's predominantly story with you making decisions, and I think you control your character and go different places.
Yeah.
Too. But I've never really have done something like that, which is cool. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and the company that makes that, I believe I want to say it's Supermassive Games who does it. I can't recall off the top of my head, but they've done a bunch of different games. So they did the Dark Trilogy or the Dark Saga,
the Telltale ones or whatever.
They're not Telltale. They're still horror themed.
Oh, they are? Okay.
They did one called Man of Medan. They're doing a new one that's coming out called House of Ashes, where they're more shorter contained stories.
Okay.
That you could play as couch co-op. So at the beginning of it, Strife and I will sit down on the couch and we'll pick out okay, I'm going to play as these two characters. You're going to play as these two characters. And then we'll just make the decisions based on how we want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one we were playing, and I unfortunately can't remember the title right now. But there's a love triangle thing happening in the story. And it's I'm playing as the husband who wants to get back with his wife, and she's not interested at all. And that's how my wife's playing it. And so it's just we're butting heads the whole time. It's we could have a happy ending for these people. And she's no, fuck that. This guy's hot.
That's awesome. And that's what, that I could really see that being something unique to it. 'Cause I guess I don't know if there's a lot of dual people Twitch channels or not. I predominantly would imagine it's more solo based.
Yeah. Most of what I've seen has been solo,
and then,
or at least not married couple streams.
Right. And then to play into it, like almost as if you are becoming the character and making these decisions, or now you're vested in this guy and you want him to have a happy ending, but she doesn't because she's following what more her character she's playing is. I think that's unique, and I think that's a really cool idea, and a way that's something that you probably don't see too often. So that's kudos to you for that. That's really creative and really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know how I would manage too much of a streaming Twitch account, and what I do know a little bit with becoming an affiliate. You have to isn't it you have to stream for 7 days in a row or something like that, or
yeah, it's 7 unique days, total of 10 hours total.
Yeah.
You have to have 50 followers, and
it's weird.
An average of 3 viewers per stream.
Okay.
So which is almost counterintuitive when you're oh, I need to stream X amount of days. Well, yeah, but half those days I'm only going to have one person instead of 3 or something like that. It kind of bites you in the ass.
Yeah, it does. And it's it's a cool platform, and it's not just for gaming too. A lot of people use it for I know some people that you open up cards on their show and stuff like that. But
and you had mentioned bands that'll do live shows. I've seen a couple of those go on. My brother, he was doing during lockdown. He started doing a lot of Twitch streaming for his DJ stuff.
Nice,
because he wasn't able to play live shows.
Yeah,
and so he has a whole setup going now where it's camera down on the turntable and mixers and
for sure
stream on him, and it's a whole production. But that was a good way for him to get new followers because it wasn't a market he had ever really been in doing local live stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet too, and that's a good way to do it because you can get you could get a follower across the world that maybe who knows if you would have made it there anytime soon or something like that. So that's a really cool way to do it. I gotta dabble with that. And then like Discord, is Discord associated with Twitch?
Not technically. It's just one of those things that like every gamer uses.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of Discord channels. I've been in a few of them for podcasting. There's some local guys with the Grit City podcast that I guest on every once in a while. They have a Discord for their followers and their patrons to come and listen live. And it's really just like, okay, how, like you had mentioned, you kind of want to dabble with Twitch. Okay, well, how deep do you want to go into it?
Right.
Because there's a million different things you could do, and it could be wasted energy at times.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you ever gonna, because you do a lot of tabletop games, board games, are you ever gonna do Twitches with those?
I've thought about it. I don't really have a setup for it right now. Like I would have to get a table for my office and a new camp set up and whatnot. But we've thought about it. The hardest part is kind of just micing everyone, so it's not just straight room echo, and that's the podcaster part of my brain that kicks in there.
Yeah, really the only board game I've been playing, we played Horrified again not that long ago, and that's a sweet game. That's a lot of fun.
It is. You got me hooked on that. I picked up the Horrified American Monsters, and that's been a good one for us.
Yeah, I saw that at Target. I think I'm going to pick that one up eventually too, because I definitely like the American Monsters too, and my son's starting to get into it. I never played a lot of board games until I met my wife, which is pretty cool. I don't ever need to play another game of Clue because my 8-year-old got addicted to it, and then it's like we're playing it over and over, and it's like, all right, dude,
nice.
We're moving on. But yeah, I mean, another cool thing that you could do maybe someday with the Twitch channel is incorporate the board games a little bit. Do you miss the podcast life?
There's an itch. There's always an itch for it. I mean, I did it for 6 years between 3 different shows.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's always like that back in my head, like, oh, I could turn this into a podcast or like, at my work, I'm doing kind of a movie club with one of my coworkers where it's like, we suggest a movie that the other person has to watch one movie a month. And he's 100% like, oh yeah, this could be a podcast. Oh, I'm like, don't even start going down that road. It's just a bad thing at the end of it. The last thing we need is 2 fat white guys talking about movies on a podcast.
Hey, that's never been done before. No, just kidding. Have you? Well, because your last podcast was a ton of work, wasn't it? It was just a lot of writing.
It was. I'm trying to think. It depended on what I was doing because I did all sorts of crazy shit with it, but. Like a normal episode, it was like a 4-hour recording session once a month. And then it was about 12 hours of editing for each episode.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
So, and there was like 2 episodes a week. So, 6 hours a week that I was editing and doing sound design and all that. It's just like, this is a part-time job.
For sure. It's fun to do. Like we have those episodes where like the Christmas ones, especially where it's a lot of production, a lot of putting extra audios, layering stuff. Putting effects on, and I enjoy doing it, but I could not do it 12 hours a week. I just couldn't. And I could easily see why anyone would get burnt out doing it, especially if it's if it's a hobby rather than a job or something like that.
And that's kind of where I'm enjoying Twitch now. It's like, I hop on 2 hours, maybe like I'll upload a copy of it to YouTube. That takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so that's 2 hours I'm creating content that I would have been playing a game anyway. I'm not having to edit it. I'm not having to go in and, make sure everyone sounds perfect in it. It's just like, oh, you know what? If I had to take a break in the stream, it's left in. I don't worry about it.
Yeah, I really don't edit this show that much. Sometimes, depends on what's said. There's certain comments that have never been heard and don't need to be heard, but
it happens.
It definitely happens. But yeah, I mean, I take about 12 seconds, throw the intro, the outro, and then splice it, and it's done. Because I do too much other shit to think about editing.
I totally understand that.
And that's part of my problem is I just do too much stuff. And if I were to give some things up, I could have time to play video games. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy video games. They're fun, and depending on which kid is in the room, I can play the ones like the more like the horror ones or the little more violent ones. But still, I have the 8-year-old. He's kind of dabbling a little bit. Like he watched an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? But then we had some dreams, and I was like,
Nice.
oh shit, So it's like things like that where I can't play. I might be able to play Fallout in front of him, but
there you go.
I don't know that I would be able to play. I wouldn't be able to play Resident Evil. Was it 6, the one where you go into the house or whatever? I still haven't beat that.
Oh yeah,
I still haven't beat
6
that
or
game.
7.
Yeah,
I don't remember which one Village was. Like they're all subtext now, so it's hard to keep track of them.
Yeah, but I still haven't beat that game. I've had it forever. I still haven't beat the last God of War game. So I have them. I was
going to say the next one comes out in a couple months. You got to get on that.
Isn't it? It's only on PS5, isn't it?
No, I think it's still on PS4.
Is it?
I think it better be because otherwise I'm screwed.
I could tell you, I've had the PS5 in my cart many a times, and I just I can't do it yet. Can't do it yet. It sucks because I just know I don't have the time to play it. So why am I going to spend $500 to $600 on a system that I'm just never going to use?
Yeah. No, and I get kind of lucky with my wife on that one because she's also a gamer. Like one of my favorite stories I had told back when I was doing a gaming podcast was like, I'm sitting on the couch and I think it was pre-orders for the Xbox One when that first launched. And I happened to get a pre-order in a cart through checkout and the whole nine. And I'm sitting there on the couch. I was like, just kind of turned to her. We're watching TV. I'm like, hey, so by the way, I just bought an Xbox One. And granted, we have separate bank accounts and whatnot. So that was my play money I used for it. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she just goes silent for a good 10 minutes. And then she stops and looks over at me. She's like, that means we need a 4K TV too, right? I'm like, yep, this is why I married you.
Yeah, there it is. I need to get my wife to be a gamer. It's funny because me and my wife are very much different in a lot of different aspects, but same in others. But she's very much she likes watching shows like TV shows and stuff like that. And I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, but now this new Game of Thrones spinoff is on the air, the House of the Dragon or whatever it's called. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, it's fine. And she wants me to watch it. And I just I avoid it, to be honest. But I don't think she's in the room. But then it's like I go on and turn on a comedy. We just got done watching Crashing. Granted, it was only 3 seasons long, but it's we're very much different. And it's like if I play a video game, she's like, why are you doing this? It's like, because it's fun, damn it. Because it's fun.
See, at least my partner likes to sit and watch me play games, or if it's like, oh, this has multiplayer, she'll just pick up a controller. She's like, I don't care if you want to play this solo. We're playing this together now.
Yeah, maybe I could.
And granted,
get that.
We do have our differences. Like she has her TV shows that she likes to watch, and usually that happens when I go to bed. It's like, oh, she's going to turn on Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or anything like that.
Yeah,
where it's just like it's white noise for me while I fall asleep.
For sure, she's very she likes Parks and Rec. I'm an Office guy. So, we're kind of, there's a little bit opposite.
I don't think I've seen an episode of either of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, The Office is the shit. I love it very much, but yeah, that's okay. We're watching, we watched Better Call Saul. I don't know if you watched that at all.
No, I actually never fell down the whole Breaking Bad rabbit hole.
Oh, really? You've never seen Breaking
Bad?
And
I honestly don't know why. I've seen an episode of it and it seemed awesome.
Shit's awesome, dude. You gotta, I think it's still on Netflix. If you have Netflix, that's one show I think everyone needs to invest in is Breaking Bad because it's amazing. Better Call Saul is not as good as Breaking Bad, but still very good.
Okay,
so it's absolutely awesome. You could do a Twitch thing, instead
watch along.
Yeah, instead of Chris Hardwick, you could be the talking bad guy.
Oh, jeez.
But
yeah, I'm sure I'll get away with all the copyright strikes on that happening. Some no-name wants to make commentary about this show.
You just have the camera on your face, and that's it. It's just literally an hour or 45 minutes of your face watching it, and then the reactions or something like that. Oh
yeah, then you could zoom in on the eye and be like, oh, I can see a reflection. I know what scene he's on.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's good stuff. How does that work with Twitch with copyright stuff? So obviously you're playing a game that's copyrighted, but they must have some sort of some sort of something.
The general consensus is music is what gets hit the most. I mean, it's the same way on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't have permission to play it, someone could put a copyright strike against you and take the episode down or the video down. And it works the same way on Twitch.
Okay.
Because Twitch is owned by Amazon. They kind of follow the same rules. But as far as I'm playing out a story, I'm essentially spoiling the game. And there is a lot of discussion behind, should developers get a cut of this, or because consumers have paid for this, we're adding our own commentary to it. We're adding something to make our own content. It's the same way as covering a song.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a band. And so there's been a lot of back and forth about that. Most of the developers, when it comes to Twitch or YouTube and videos and gameplay videos, most of them are okay with it because they know that it's additional exposure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
There's been plenty of times I've seen someone play a game. It's like, oh shit, I want to buy that.
Right.
That looks amazing. I want to play it myself. I'll stop watching the video to go play it instead.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what those metrics are. What for, a game a big thing like Fortnite, where you have tens of thousands of people on Twitch probably playing that game.
Oh yeah.
Every single day. And it's, the game itself is free, but they make money on all the add-ons and stuff like that. But I'd be interested to see what, if it's possible to see what the metrics are before it hits Twitch versus what they are after they hit Twitch or something like that. I don't know.
There's got to be some sort of figure out there because it was Twitch that really got Fortnite popular.
Mm-hmm.
You had that was the rise of the Twitch streamer Ninja, who's in everything now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember playing Fortnite before it even had multiplayer like that. There was no battle royale mode when I first played it.
And that's all it is now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all anyone ever plays. There's still this other part of the game that no one touches.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Or at least there used to be. They might have taken it out at this point.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's got to be when, especially doing video game news at the time, it's just everyone started going crazy about Fortnite. And then, podcasts started talking about it. Twitch streamers started streaming it. YouTubers started, posting videos about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that viral media is really kind of what grew their brand. So there's got to be something out there that you could see where it's just here's 1,000 people playing it. Now here's 40,000 playing it right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people still do it. Mm-hmm. And you do the same thing over and over again. But people love it. I don't know. Call me old.
Maybe I'm just putting in too much work playing other games.
No, I don't.
Fortnite all the time.
I don't think you should do that. I mean, and I think you and I are pretty close in age, and we kind of grew up before multiplayer online. If you wanted to play multiplayer, you're in the same room, and you're on an N64, or maybe you're on the first PlayStation or something like that, and you're doing it that way. But most of my gaming life has been spent with me and buddies in a living room, and we're playing a story mode, and then it's when you die, you pass the controller to the next person.
Yep.
But at the same time, even if you're not playing, you're still having so much fun because you're with your friends, you're talking smack, you're watching the game progress, and then you get your turn, you get to be a part of the experience, everything like that. And that's just kind of how I game. That's how I want to game. I don't I've done the online stuff and it's fun. I've played Fall Guys. That's a fun game. And things like that. But even when I'm playing with my kids, we have the NES Classic or whatever it is. When we're playing Donkey Kong, it's the same thing. When I die, I hand it to my son, and then same thing. And that's I think unfortunately I think that type of gaming and that type of experience is going away because now it's good that you can play online and you can play with your friends and you can make friends all over the world. And have that social aspect of it. A lot of people, I'm sure, find a lot of comfort in probably have had their lives saved in some regard by interacting with these people. But I just, there's something about it. I used to shove my PlayStation 2 in my backpack, go ride my bike across the town I live in, go to my friend's house and we hook it up and we'd be playing it. And it's just, that's I miss that experience.
Oh, same. That's something that's definitely gone away. Like with my wife and I, we'll check a multiplayer game out and be like, does it have couch co-op?
Yeah.
Like if we can sit on the couch together, play on one console, share a TV, playing it, that is ideal for us because we're both close to the same age. That's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
It's like, she has her office, I have my office. We're able to play online games that way, but it misses something when you're not sitting right next to the person,
right?
Where you can elbow them because they did something stupid to your character, or
right.
It's that direct feedback kind of situation.
And you're also sometimes probably a little more afraid to say certain things because these little 12-year-olds online are brutal, and it's like they say whatever they want about me and my mother because I'm not in the room with them, and it's pretty funny.
There's one of and granted it was like a BuzzFeed like repost kind of thing, or it was something on Twitter, I guess. But one of the funniest things was this, as the story goes, this mother walked in on her husband and her son playing video game together, and it was trash talking like that Xbox Live style.
Yeah.
Well, I fucked your mom. And he's like, haha, yeah, that's very funny, Dad. He's like, but I'm her son, so I've been deeper inside of her than you'll ever be.
Oh God. Yeah, that's a good one. I hope my son never says that to me. But but let's talk about how people can follow you on social media. Where can they find you on Twitch?
Yeah, so on Twitch, we have all of our videos up. Like I said, we're streaming. Typically, I'll hop on around 2 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Pacific, usually for a couple hours on Tuesday and Thursday. Or Saturdays, we hop on typically longer to do some multiplayer stuff. But you can find all of that as well as past streams at twitch.tv/Husband and Strife. I also have a Twitter account that I'm still kind of getting back into using again after I took a break from social media. It's a little hard to get back in that swing, but it's at Husband and Strife without the E. So it's just Husband and Strife. There's a whole long, boring story about Google behind that one.
Oh, gee. But
and also we're on YouTube as well. So,
awesome.
If YouTube's more your thing, we don't have the fun vanity URL, but if you just search Husband and Strife, you'll find our channel.
Yeah, I'll include all that in the show notes and everything like that. But Dee, I appreciate you coming back on. How's the beer?
The beer's pretty good. They do add salt to it from, I guess, the San Juan Islands, so local as well. It's got a little too much salt for my taste, but I think, hanging out, especially during these hot days, if it was nice and cold, I think it'd be a good one.
Yeah, the one I had was pretty good as well. It's I've had a couple of peanut butter porters and stouts, but this is not the best one I've ever had. The best one I've ever had is from Lupulin, which I do have a few of those in my house, but this one is pretty good. It's the peanut butter is not overpowering, and it's got that good stout taste to it. It's not too it doesn't have any coffee like notes or anything like that too, which stouts and porters tend to do. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I would drink it again. Like I said, I don't drink these too often. And the only reason I'm drinking this one now, to be honest, is, well, one, because it's kind of that time of the year, like I said, but also a friend of mine unloaded all these beers on me, and I was like, he asked me, do you want some of these beers? I was like, sure. They're all stouts, every single one of them. I'm like, shit. So now it's like either I give them away to somebody else or I'll have them over time. I think I've had these beers for probably like 3 months now. So
see, all I heard was wham, someone gave me free beer.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain. Craft beer is expensive, so I should be appreciative. You are absolutely right. Well, Dee, I appreciate it, man. We got to stay in touch, and maybe one day we can stream or play on Twitch at the same together, but in different states. I think you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always hit each other up on socials. So, if you have any questions about Twitch, things like that, I'm more than happy to help you out, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Pew, pew, audio. Goodbye, everyone.